Hello. Are we working? Are we back now? You can. We can all blame John. It's definitely not my fault. Are we up and running? Is the picture in the top left? Is it too small? Does anyone want me to make it bigger? Evidently, my laptop really did not like having a large Photoshop file open as well as trying to stream, but we've made it. So this is the this is the design that we're going to be working on now. So you can see the nets and stuff are. I remember that now. If I pull everything down, I can leave this a little bit bigger up here. More bandwidth, yeah. I covered my face slightly. There we go. So that's the design. You can see we got this nice rock and the nets that I was speaking about. They're going to be done on 2 key blocks, but we will see that in a couple of weeks' time when I get to it. But this is going to be a really fun little one to do. Some pretty interesting blocks to carve, especially all the waves and stuff, layering all those waves and that in the background and things, and really like quite a few of these smaller prints that me and Jed do. The real challenge comes in the printing, because being a smaller design, it's inevitably a little bit cheaper, and we really want to maximise our block usage for something like this. So it's a case of being sort of quite creative with how we build out the colour blocks and stuff to sort of maximise the the space we have, along with being able to sort of mix colours on the block. So that like teal colour you see that's on the boy runs under quite a lot of the blues and stuff to sort of make them a bit more of like an ocean blue, and a lot of greys and browns and stuff in there to sort of add the depth and that. But blues are quite easy to, especially these cooler blues, they're quite easy to build colour up on. Because you inherently, as you're going darker with blue, you add grey anyway, and it tints and shades quite well. So this is an original design by Jed. This has all come from Jed's mind, and it is of a mythical creature, I suppose, called a Kappa. And there's some quite famous Kappa designs. Yoshitoshi did quite a few. Hokusai did quite a few in his manga, and traditionally they weren't very nice creatures. I mentioned this at the start of the stream, but they would pull, or the old wives' tale was that they would pull children under the water and sort of take them away to the depths. Hello Martin, welcome. Good to have you here. Yeah, and they would do sort of. They were sort of kind of similar to the sort of the old tales of the mermaids, how they would like entice people towards the water's edge and then drag them under and things. But this boy's not. This boy's cute and he doesn't steal children away from their mothers. He's just happy fishing for his crabs and stuff. But anything to do with sort of Japanese mythology and yokai and stuff is pretty interesting. There's always fun to be had there with designs like this. And because it's a mythical creature, you're sort of, from Jed's point of view, you sort of got a good license to sort of go as far as you want with it. But I suppose I can say now as well, in other news, as we semi-announced it and stuff on Laura's Instagram the other day, I met with Laura and we sort of hashed out a rough idea of what we would like to do with our collaboration print. And Laura's done some preliminary sketches and stuff, and we will be, once she's sort of finished that and got her sort of key block and things worked out, we'll do a stream together and we'll sort of talk a little bit more in depth about how the print will work, because lino print and lino and woodblock are generally not mediums that you would expect to go together, but we feel like we have a quite interesting way of working that out, so stay tuned and we will be announcing more as Laura progresses with her key block and stuff. Have I ever go to scratch carving? Yes, I have. It sounds intimidating, but it's not. It's quite free and fun. You sort of just carve the shape and then just come back in and sort of stab along the lines and things and just sort of break it up, take a test print, have a go, like come back in, hack some more bits out and stuff. And the real key is you stab along the line. Say it was here, you'd stab that way, come back, and then you've sort of got the centre part of your blade here. You can sort of drag that along the block and sort of almost use it like a file or something to sort of break the edge of that block down and sort of make it a little bit more ragged and fluffy, so that it would pick up pigment in a ununiform manner. And yeah, it sort of looks a bit like brush strokes. I did it on a Star Wars print that me and Jed did a couple of years ago, and it's quite fun. so long as you don't sort of go overboard and just hack out all of the sort of detail of the thing, it's quite fun. The key is to just keep testing the block as you're doing the scratch carving. Yeah, it's really exciting, George. I'm really excited to work with Laura. I owe her a lot. She was the first person to really put me on to Japanese prints, and she's been very good with her time with me. I want to repay her as best I can by doing some good work for her. But we have a pretty good structure of how it would be distributed and priced and things kind of laid out already. It's subject to a few other sort of how the process goes and stuff. But we'll, as I said, once we get closer to having images down on blocks, then we'll put a stream together, either probably through Laura's, and most likely a YouTube series will follow. Ben will, if he has the time, help us film a small series for it to sort of build the hype around it and stuff. Hopefully somewhere round. It all sort of depends on workload on both our sides, but ideally it'd be finished in and around the end of the summer. Laura has a show up in the north of England that maybe she would like to show the print at, so we'll sort of work on that time frame for it. Yeah, she does, and that's sort of what gave me the impression that it would work. The real sticking point is going to come in the paper that we use. The paper that we use for it will not be the Hosho that I produce all my prints on, because even with sizing, it's very soft and quite fluffy, and I just don't think that that would work well with the lino. So we will most likely the most likely thing is that we'll be using an origami paper, because it's easier for me to work out the paper to be able to print flat colour as I'm carving colour blocks for it and printing flat ukiyo-e style colour. It's going to be easier for me to find a paper that can do that works well for Laura, as opposed to the other way around, of Laura trying to find a paper that prints the lino well that's too soft or something like that, because those key blocks have got to be really crisp and strong. But she'll be combining some of her techniques in producing in printing wood grain and stuff, and it's going to be really cool. And hopefully you guys will be able to see where the sort of influence for the print has come from in terms of old ukiyo-e designers and stuff, or designer. See if anyone can guess the sort of inspiration from the series or anything. And all my work is going to be in the colour blocks and sort of just printing nice flat classical colour using colours and things that were very typical of the time. So expect to see some good blues and greens and things like that, like you would expect from a sort of classical era, sort of mid 1840s, early 1850s style landscape print. I think it will sit really nicely with Laura's sort of really flowy contemporary lino key blocks that she does. Yeah, I have seen that, Nigel. I've inquired with Dave as to how it takes the pigment and stuff, and asked whether he would recommend it for a project like this. Yes, George, we're planning to do that sort of thing anyway, so there will be a public video series, and we're just sort of figuring out a way, because a lot of the work is going to be done separately. So I'll be sort of carving on my own as I normally do, streaming it as I go along, and Laura will be doing the same. We're sort of trying to figure out logistics of how we can sort of split that up so that I'm able to show you guys a little bit more than what you would just see on sort of the public forums and things, whether that be in the form of some sort of blog or miniature video series. I'm not sure. A video series feels a little bit less likely, just in terms of, on my side, in terms of time, editing videos and things like that at the moment, with the work leading up into summer, could be tough. It's doable, but there will definitely be something that will be tailored towards you guys, so that you get something exclusive from this. And I would very much like for anyone that is a subscribing Patreon to me to be able to get some form of priority to purchase the print. If you so wish to purchase the print, you don't have to, of course. Martin, so tools, it all sort of depends on your seriousness for wanting to make prints, and your sort of expectations of the types of prints you want to make. In an ideal world, I would recommend that you get good cherry wood from Japan. You buy good knives, such as this, from Japan, and get a few good gouges. So I have this wide one for clearing out, slightly smaller one for clearing up to the edge of the lines, another smaller one for picking out small areas, and then just a couple of cheap U-gouges. That's in an ideal world. If you're, I would say, if you're really serious, you want to make prints that have got really crisp, thin lines, then generally it's the type of thing where spending the money is going to have an effect on performance. Of course, there's also the factor of competence of using the tools. These blades can be quite brittle. You sharpen them to a very fine point, so they can break very easily. But if you can learn how to sharpen well, then you can overcome that quite easily. I would say never be scared of the cherry wood. It's hard, but it's not like teak or something like that that's just going to snap your knife instantly. It's very workable wood. There is a lot of places that offer things that like kit sets and things like that. They're generally more of a student level tool. What you would normally see if you were in Japan, sort of middle school students would be using those to sort of do their woodblock print projects and stuff like that. But hand printed, I think, and maybe Jackson's, I'm not sure, they do sell a full set, and it is this brand. And you receive a few of these. There's a couple of knives and stuff in there, and it's maybe about £200, £300 or something like that. But you don't need to spend that. I have 3 knives. They cost $60 each, and the rest of my stuff costs maybe about another $50 total, and that's my whole set for carving. But I would recommend wood like Matsumura. If you're in the US, McLean's stock a lot of the similar stuff. George uses McLean's. There's a few other guys in here from the US that do. I can just personally speak from experience with wood like Matsumura. That's correct, George. And if you're getting a full set, I don't have a full set. I just have sort of cobbled together things over the last few years, and just haven't really felt too much of a need to purchase too many more. Sometimes I think, it'd be really easy if I had so and so size chisel or something like that. But a very important thing I would say is, with your knife, this main carving knife here, don't get the 6.5. It's very thick, and if you're sort of learning with a 6.5 blade and then you go down to a smaller size, you're going to really struggle in terms of handling the blade and stuff. That extra 2.5mm really makes a difference. And in my personal opinion, the 3mm is a bit too brittle for me. A 4.5 is really where I would what I would recommend. A 4.5. This is it Toga Tuna or something like that? I can't remember the name of it, but it's the ebony handled one. That's the only blade that I've ever bought. You'll see it because all the other blades have got a paler wood handle like this, and this will be an ebony wood one. Sorry, I've missed a ton here. I do need a Mr. B. I've been using my brother for some things. The more that the UK opens up, and the more time we're all sort of allowed to spend with each other over the next few months, hopefully, then there's more I would like to do. We're just sort of going by a job basis with that at the moment. Yeah, I did see him starting the printing, or was he was adjusting the registration for some reason. I only caught the start. I was going to bed as it was coming on, but yeah, I'll flick back through the last few and have a look. Yeah, no, Martin, I would recommend Matsumura every day of the week. They're great people. Um, they do. It takes them a few days to reply in English, but they do reply back to you in English. Shipping's generally pretty good. Are the Japanese cherry blocks from Matsumura better than those? Oh, that is a question. I would say hardness. So the I don't use the blocks I make for myself currently. I do not use for key blocks. The wood is the issue I do have is having not being able to go down there myself over the past year and inspect the wood. I had one lot that was really really good that seems like if I found the right batch then I could use them for key blocks. I had one batch from a different supplier that was awful. So we know which supplier we want to use now. I can wholly recommend the blocks that we make for anyone that's sort of wanting to maybe do stuff with a slightly thicker line, or 100% recommend them for colour blocks. They make perfect colour blocks, but I do still buy key blocks from Matsumura. Just because as well, I've met him and we've spent some time together and stuff, and that's as you'll know, things like that go quite a long way in Japan. And I'm sort of able to specify to him that I would like key block worthy wood. So I know when I order that he's going to send me wood that is suitable for a key block. But hopefully, those blocks that I've sort of been talking about and teasing for months and months and months are going to start to trickle out over the summer now. I'd like to get down there and visit the guy that owns the business and buy a big ton of wood off him and make up a load and see who wants them. Oh, that's great, John. Oh, see, we can always count on Dave. If there's ever a problem you have, Dave has either covered it or is in the process of covering it. Thanks for that. How long have we been live for? What's the time now? 8 o'clock. So I'll be wrapping up in a couple of seconds. I'll do a couple more lines and stuff and we'll wrap it up for today. But unfortunately I don't have anything to show off today. Maybe I will on Thursday. Most likely the current batch of prints I'm working on, I'll be able to show those off next Tuesday. I think I should have them finished by Friday afternoon, so we'll see. But not a lot of work is going to get done on this block in between, because I'm going to be printing and then finishing off the colour blocks for the avatar print, and then I'll be test printing from the sort of end of next week on. So it's just going to be sort of start where we left off with this block for a couple of weeks. But we're making pretty good progress here. See, we've got the majority of the body area carved now. Thursday I'll get the legs done and the hands and hopefully the shell, and then we can start probably working on these crabs and stuff in this side. But what I'll do is I'll leave the image up as we go through, so everyone can see. And yeah, I think that's enough for today. Excuse me. Oh, it's been a long day. But thank you everyone for sticking with me. I know we had some problems before, but we overcame them, and we now know that we never try and open Photoshop while we're streaming. Opening Photoshop before we stream is fine, but opening Photoshop during a stream is a terrible idea. But thank you again, everyone. I'll be back Thursday, same time. So stay safe, everyone, and take care, and thank you again. No problem, Martin, anytime. If you ever have any questions, just email me or DM me on Instagram or something. Anyway, take care, guys.